Hello everyone, Krydax here, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-1. This has been a really fun playthrough so far, and I've never had this much fun before landing on the moon. Normally you can land on the moon within a few hours of starting your playthrough, so it's been really awesome. We are still kind of in the midst of our uncrewed solar, lunar surface exploration, and crewed orbit programs. This one we have a long time left to go because we have a lot of things left to do. We haven't done anything astronaut related before that, and then our uncrewed lunar surface still needs the orbiter and mapper, and then a far side lunar landing. And this one we need a new science part, which is this one. So I will not be able to integrate my lunar science orbiter until this research is done. Now, that being said, I don't think we've designed that craft yet, and we can cross this off. Launch lunar lander is done. And so in September, we're planning to design and integrate the lunar science orbiter. We were going to see if we could use the Locust or Cobalt. I'll probably go towards the Locust, potentially. Needs video imaging 2. Locust might not work just because we have to get to the moon. I don't remember how much Delta V our Locust series had, but I don't know if it was enough to get to a moon orbit. Because moon orbit is like, what, 14,000 Delta V, or... I've forgotten. Let me open my Delta V chart. Window capture... This one? Yeah, that one. Delta V chart here is... Delta V maps. Okay, so these are both roughly the same. Open image in new tab, zoom in, and for moon, we've got 9.4, 2.44. I really need to add these up just one time so we can have them. Moon orbit requires about 800 to insert. Yeah, it's about 4,000 Delta V on top of orbit, so about 13 and a half kilometers per second Delta V. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to open that. It's probably good to open this, though. Let's kind of glance through a couple things here. So I queued up a few more things. I really want better RCS, and this will help with landers as well to have better ISP fuel configurations. Like this Aerozine 50 and NTO is so much better. So once we've got that, it'll be so much easier to make landers that use generic thrusters. Really excited about having Hydrolox engines. And this is the science we need for I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the one that needs to be on our moon orbiter. So yeah, I also decided to go ahead and queue up the first RTG node there. And yeah, I don't really know how important the ORSC engines are. It feels... it's hard to tell without researching it. Is it any good? Is it worth the time? I don't really know. Looks like these are all Russian-based engines. I mean, the ISPs are pretty good, but like, when we compare all the things, I just don't know how it lines up to other engines. So, because that only has one ignition, TWR is 70, 0.64 tons. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's not worth looking into right now. And then we are upgrading the administration building, and we are building our human-rated launch pad right now. So, cool. So then in November, we'll probably be able to launch, maybe December, the Lunar Science Orbiter. And then we also need the far side lunar lander. And then it won't be until December that we can integrate our orbital test flight contract, because we need the basic capsules research here. So that won't be done until December. So right now, unless I've missed something, we kind of can't do anything, and we just have to... Oh, I didn't mean to open the spaceplane hangar. I meant to open the mission control. But I think we just need a time warp right now. I don't think there's anything else to be done until September. Because if we look in mission control, there's not even optional missions right now. It's all just what we already have active. Oh, I'm a dummy. I was looking at the active contracts. Whoops. Okay, we do have some optional contracts. Okay, well, lunar landing and sample return. Well, yes, I'll definitely want to do that. So I can do another lunar landing to just get a bunch more. I mean, that's worth it, right? 252. At least for now, I'm not maxed on my reputation. I'm still 600, 700 from being maxed. The problem is once it's maxed, we're kind of not getting a benefit anymore. So maybe it's not worth it because I'll probably get enough reputation before then. Because once we do this one, that's another 189. The orbital test flight's another 76. These keep giving me 4 a month, which is helping offset the loss. Yeah. Losing 1.2 reputation per day. Jeez. Okay, maybe... No, let's just chill. Let's just chill. Let's warp to complete here. We're gonna move to September where we will finish our design. And quite a bit of science has rolled in. Got more contracts complete here. And we are now in June. I don't think we need to do anything else. What's our money look like? Ooh, our balance is pretty high now. Gain 40 grand. I'm okay with that, to be honest. I think I want a nest egg of 50 grand at this point in the game. I think I was a little low on money for a while. Alright, and now at this point, I think I want to hire some more researchers. So let's hire... Staffing, let's hire up to, let's see, researchers, auto hire, reserve funds 50,000. Let's go up to 1,100 researchers. Failed to parse reserve funds. Is it because it didn't have a comma? Probably. Nope, it just really doesn't like... What on earth? Okay, this is new. What if I just leave the reserve funds the way they are? Still doesn't work. Oh, well, I found a good old bug. Does it need to not have a comma? Is it actually rejecting the comma? Even though it's automatically adding it in? Yeah, that's how it's working. LOL. It forces a comma in there automatically, but then it doesn't accept it when you try to hit enter. That's a bug. All right, so we'll go ahead and warp to complete here. Doesn't it normally show? Oh. We have a bunch of applicants. We didn't have to pay anything to hire that 100 researchers. Oh, nice. Maybe I'll hire 100 more. Let's see how much that moves basic capsules. 1204 goes to 1124. Nice. Okay, yeah, we'll stick with 1,200 researchers for now. And then go ahead and warp to complete here. We are now on September of 1962. So we're gonna warp to sunrise so that our simulations can be daytime simulations. Our unlock credit is back up to 136 grand, which feels good. And now looking at our kind of program timing, we're now kind of mid-second year for the lunar stuff. And we're towards the end of the first year for crude stuff. Okay, cool. So now we are designing for the contract Lunar Orbiter and Mapper, which needs to get video imaging 2. Periapsis has to be at space low. Apoapsis needs to be below 500. Cool. And it needs to have about 13.5 thousand delta V. It needs to have solar panels. We want to get it in a polar orbit of the moon, so there's all sorts of little things we need to be aware of. So let's go ahead and open... I keep meaning to fix this folder problem. What was Cobalt 3? Cobalt 3 was 84 tons. This was the one that made it to the moon. I think this was our moon orbiter. This one just feels really inefficient. I wonder if... the Locust... Let's see, what was it? Locust 2 was in this category? Yeah, this one might be able to do it. Especially if we have an engine upgrade or two that I can apply. Open. How much weight are we carrying here? I mean, these are some pretty heavy solar panels. So we might be able to make this work for the moon one. Let's try it. Okay, so we're gonna save this as Locust 4. This is... What are we gonna... its mission is to high and low moon orbit for science. 13.5K dB. Alright. So that's the mission we are designing this for. Let's see if we can get there. First thing is Communotron is on UHF band, and this one has antenna disabled, so that's what we want. We do need to do antenna planning for the 50 decibel stations, or dBm, whatever that stands for, decibel something. And we want like 500 million meters plan, and then we want to increase power. And I may need more than that. We will, and it may be better to do a directional antenna as well. Not sure, because our science experiments might be a lot more bits per second. Like 246 bits per second might just not be enough, because like we're gonna need this one, which the data rate is 180 bytes per second, which is, we multiply that by 8, so that's almost 6, that's like 1500 bits a second. But that's only for 1 hour per biome. So that's only a total moon biomes. Let me look, it's on that Delta V maps, or not Delta V maps, but the, where is it? Space high-low science body information. If you scroll down on that page on the RP-1 wiki, it does list how many biomes there are. So the moon has 17 biomes. So this is only a total, I mean, I could just do the total math here. 648 kilobytes. 648 kilobytes times 17 biomes is 11016 times 8 is how many bits? We're only looking at 88,000 bits. That's not very much. I feel like I did that math wrong. Did I do that wrong? 648. Oh, sorry, times 1,000. There we go. I knew I was missing something. Okay. Because it's 648,000 bytes times 17 biomes. Yeah. We end up with 88 megabytes. So if we divide that by 86,400, which is how many seconds are in a day, we get 1,020 days. We get 1,020 bit days, which means 1 bit per second. It would take 1,020 days. But since we have 246 bits per second, it would only take about 4 days to transmit all the data. So that is more than enough, right? Like, that's fine. The question is, what about all these other experiments? And that might change things. So why don't we ignore let's just configure our experiments first. And we're also gonna go deep space improved avionics for maximum. Well, unless what do I have tooled already? I wish we had more screen real estate. The screen gets so busy in RP-1. I wish I could just use my third monitor for all these readouts of different things. Avionics, it looks like D2 is all that we have unlocked. Oh, but is D2 this one? Is this D1 or... This is D2, yeah. So D2, we have 2.6.8 diameter. Okay, so if I change this to 2.6, it's a little heavier maybe than it needs to be, but... Go 2 megajoules. Not enough volume. And then tooling wise, basically won't cost anything to tool it because it's just a slightly different size. Okay. Now, experiments. Orbital perturbation is a no. What do we actually want on? There's so many new experiments here. Let's look through these. What is this? Helium so we landed biome, space low, space high. That's a 30-day experiment. 15 bytes a second. I also need to be looking at like what are my best options. So helium, this is called magnetic scan 2. For whatever reason isn't showing up here. Wonder why. I'll have to look at the whole thing. Magnetic scan 2. The moon. Space low and space high. That's a total of about 40 units of data. Okay. We need to write this stuff down or I will never remember it. So let's find a new note here. Notes. We're gonna call this Scribbles. Save. Alright, Scribbles is gonna be where we scribble things. So, Mag 2 is 45 science, but it includes magnetic scan 1, which is going to be another 20 plus 20. Okay. Well, we're not going to land, so that's pointless. Ion mass spectrometer. There might be mass spectrometry too. vision camera. Is this one that requires you to return it, or is this not one that requires you to? That's video imaging 1. Video imaging 2 includes that. There's so many. Okay, this is mass spectrometry 2. That requires some eccentricity, which I might be able to manage. This is cosmic ray science 2. 5 bytes a second. What are all these? These are all film cameras? Except for this one. Imaging spectrometry is a new one. Interesting. How much do I get from science there? We get barely anything? Is that per biome? What? Why is that so bad? That's terrible. Unless I'm doing that for a contract, that's not even worth it. It's a 90-day experiment at 450 bytes per second, and you're only gonna get 6 science from it? Yeah, that seems like a bad experiment. I'm not gonna do that one. That's pointless. And this is magnetic scan, which is included in that one. So there's no reason to use that one anymore. Okay. How's the mass spectrometry 2 looking for the moon? That one is another 40. Is that the one I already looked at? Maybe it was cosmic ray science 2 I didn't look at. Cosmic ray science 2. Ooh, that's really good. That's a lot of data. I definitely want that one. And then imaging 2. Oh, there it is. Imaging spectrometry, infrared radiometry, and mass spectrometry. There's so many things. Is there an infrared or a mass spectrometry too? That's this one. What is this one doing? Infrared radiometers is this one. Good gravy, there's a lot of options. Okay, so mass spectrometry 2 is another 45-ish, I think. Cosmic ray science 2 is, what is that? 66 plus 50 is 115-ish. Because this one's not biome dependent. Yeah, space low, space high, you get 1 data for both. Magnetic scan 2 is also that. And then cosmic ray science. Okay, and then so this one, infrared radiometry 2, is a lot. Because it's 11.6 times the number of biomes. Radiom 2. And that's 11.6 times 17. He pulls out the calculator. Is 197. And then we've got the basic TV camera, which is video imaging 2. Which space low we get all the biomes, space high we only get 1. Video imaging 2, moon. That's going to be another 17 times 4.5. 4.4. That's another like 78. Video imaging 2. Okay, sweet. We're gonna get hundreds of science on this one mission. But I do want all 5 of these experiments. So now the question is, how much data rate do we need? Gosh, this is tricky. So, because I don't mind if it takes, you know, maybe 90 days or so to transmit all the science back, but we don't want it to take more than like 2 years or something, you know, so we have to get in the right ballpark. So we're gonna get 648 kilobytes x17 x18 from the VI2. We're gonna get, well, let's just go in the same order. So that one's done. Infrared radiometer is gonna be 34 biomes of data times 13 megabytes. Maybe I should focus on the data rates and just try to, but some of them I'm okay dividing out. This one though will last forever. Because this one is 13 megabytes times 34. Wow. This one is 40 megabyte x2. I did that one. Cosmic ray science is another 40 megabyte x2. This one is only 10 kilobytes x2. So the total is, basically, I'm gonna ignore the kilobytes. 160 megabytes plus 160 plus 13 times 34 is 602 megabytes. So we want to be able to do roughly like 2 or 3 megabytes a day. So let's say 300 megabytes, or 3 megabytes a day. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 divided by 86,400 means I need 34.7 bits per second. That doesn't sound right. Only? No. What? Did I do that wrong? We're gonna end up with a total of about 600 megabytes between these. So if I did 3 a day, it would take 200 days to send back all the science. And then, so I took 3 million divided by 86,400, 3 megabytes per day divided by 86,400 seconds means 34.7 bits per second. Oh, sorry, that's bytes per second. That's, okay, I knew it sounded slightly off. So 34.72 times 8, I need 278 bits per second to keep up with all this. Okay. Well, that was all actually really useful math. You know, don't quit math class, boys and girls, because that was great. So what we want would be does it matter which one's not in there? I don't think so. Maybe we put this one on the top. Oh, does it not have a... There we go. Perfect. Okay, so then we wanted the other ones. What all were they? I'm gonna have to remember. MgO2. Oh gosh. Okay, Cosmic Ray Science 2. We wanted that one. We wanted... Why is... Oh, does that one not show up in this list? It might not. Mass Spectrometry 2 is that one, right? Yeah. Gosh, this menu gets so big. Infrared Radiometer 2 is that one, so we've got that one inside. It's just good to keep track. We've got that one inside, and we've got that one inside. And then finally we want the imaging spectrometer is bad. That one gives us like no data. That one's weird. I don't understand the balancing like gameplay wise. Why is that such a small amount of science for such a huge amount of gigabytes over such a long period of time? I almost feel like someone dropped a 0 or something. I mean, I did look at the right thing, didn't I? It was called imaging spectrometry, which is here. And I looked at the moon, and it's a total of 6.6 data units. Yeah, that's just really bad. So, don't need to care about that. All right, now what is weird is the magnetic scan 2 cannot go inside, unfortunately. So instead, we should have the basic TV camera go inside. And then we don't need that there, and then this will have to go on the craft. Which... is that gonna cause torque? Hard to tell. No, it seems to be physics-less, thankfully. Okay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So there is all of the science. I bet this looks cool when it's deployed. Oh yeah, it does. Look at that. Super neat. All right. Cool. So configure experiments is done. And then for this guy, antenna planning, active transmission time, we just assume 100% from the moon. Where are the DSS stations? There we go. DSS 450 million meters plan. All right, so I think 33 dBm is going to be just about right. It's on the upper end of the 492 bits per second. And so there might be times and angles where we can get that going. Or I could use S-band. Maybe that's a better idea. Oh, that's a much better idea. 20 watts. 1677 kilograms. It's a lot lighter if we do this, though. So, actually, I might just go with the UHF at 33 dB. It's lighter. And that way we can save on some kilograms. And power-wise, it's not that much different. 28 watts versus, you know, it was like 22 or something. Because the minimum of that is 1950 anyway. So yeah, there we go. All right, so that's good to go. Now, the solar panels are probably way bigger than they need to be. So, looking at this guy, duration is perpetual. How do we... How do we include all the science in Kerbalism? I know there's a way to do it. How did we do that again? It wasn't in the configure menu. Where was it? Sample capacity. Oh, we definitely don't need that either. I know there was a way to do this. Simulate avionics in planner. Yes, there we go. Oh, but that's the avionics, not the experiments. I'm not seeing a simulate experiments in planner button. Surely there's a way. 4, 8, 5, and 2. Oh, is it just already adding them up? It's not actually that many watts now that I look at it. It's 12, 17, 19 watts only, plus the helium, which is 7.3, so that's 26. It's not actually counting them. Have I missed a button somewhere? It's not counting any of my experiments towards the power cost. And I swear we've seen it do this before. Is that... Am I getting the avionics and the... Because it says sensor 19.1. Is that the experiments? Yeah, it is. So I guess if we shut down the avionics, it'll subtract the 70. So that will get the actual math here. There we go. It was a little bit of work, but we got there. So the actual math, when it's both using all of its science gear and transmitting, is 57.9 watts. And we only need that to be good for about a year. So these can be way smaller. Probably something like that. Let's add a year onto the stuff here. So we need the output to be 60. Dark time is going to be pretty small because we're going to be in a polar orbit, so dark time only even happens for a few days out of every month. Because when you're in a polar orbit, it's really cool. So if you're in a polar orbit and the sun's over here, I think I've talked about this before, you know, half the time you're going to be in a polar orbit this way, right? And the sun is over there, so you can see the sun the whole time. So it's only when... Actually, I guess it's only for part of the year. It would only be for a certain part of the year where you're, you know, behind the moon for part of your polar orbit and the sun's over here and you're like behind it. as for how much of the year that actually matters, it would depend on how close you are to the moon. Like, what angle does your tangent make with the moon? Because, you know, the sun will have to come around to, like, a big enough angle so that you can see it from the tangent. So if you're really close to the moon, you know, it might be a good half the year that you're outside. But if you're a little bit further away from the moon, it's probably only going to be a fourth of the year at most, even if you can form a 90-degree angle. Anyway, let's go ahead and close that because our solar panels are good now. Why does it say only 10 watts produced? Is it because these aren't extended? Oh, yeah, okay. That's all. Cool. Alright, those are there. And then this is already set up with HTP, helium. I mean, I think things are starting to look pretty good here. What else do we actually need? That's it, right? This is the probe we want. Around the moon, in a polar orbit of the moon. So now it's just a matter of... Ooh, we can go to the BA-11. Have I looked at this? How much better is it? ISP's a little higher. No ullage required. It weighs 4 kilograms more, but the ISP probably makes up for that. Sweet. And the cost is a few more, but that's pretty insignificant. And what's the consistency? That's probably the thing I should care about the most here. Reliability, 98, 65, and 95. Oh yeah, the reliability is way better. The BA-11 is badass 11, more like it. And then you can also pay extra to have a bunch of extra ignitions if you want something like that. But we don't need that many ignitions. 2 ignitions is enough. But yeah, that reliability is super handy. So that cuts the failure chance way down. Sweet, and the whole thing is only 1612 kilograms, which we already know the Locust can handle getting into orbit. So I think this whole thing should be able to get to the moon. I think. Couple things we may need to modify. What is this? What engine are we using? The RD-119. Love it. Love it. Love that bad boy. We do want... Okay, those are already reduced. Perfect. And then... I mean, is there anything else we even need to do here? We might not have enough delta V. I'm a little concerned about 13056. It's just barely enough. So I guess the question is, once we decouple this, how much how much delta V do we get? We have 80 more wrapped up in our RCS. So that's something. Oh, these are too small. No, they're not too small, sorry. I was gonna say they're too small if they're a one-way and they're at scale 0.1, it'll be less than 1 kilogram of weight, but this one's okay. And we've got these guys as well, so we should have plenty. But we don't even need these ones anymore because I don't need the ullage. The only reason I added these two was for ullage. So there's another 15 delta V back when I delete those. because these little puny thrusters weren't quite enough to provide ullage, but this is not subject to ullage. Huzzah! Sweet. What was the unlock cost for it? Oh, it's already unlocked. We used it for a different ship, so... or rocket, or whatever you want to call it. Rocket ship thing. Now, I may... yeah, you see the problem here? I think you guys see the problem here. I may put this... this way. Yeah. It's a little better. Okay. Does that look better? Seems like it. Sweet. Okay, so there's the top. We've got the avionics here, which is still early interplanetary. We could improve that, save a few, but that would cost more, so I think I'm okay leaving it the way it is. Like there's one other thing I wanted to do. This is an ISO grid tank. I can't improve that. And reduce that stringer mass of that piece of procedural structure. Can reduce this one down 13075. Couple more delta V always matters. Reduce those stringer masses, and at this point it's just a matter of, is this actually enough delta V or not? What config do we have here? The LR89 NA5. So we could go one tier higher. That actually has less delta V because it's heavier. So that ain't any good. It might be more consistent, but it's actually not. It does have 10 more seconds of burn time though if we were utilizing all of it. How much weight do I have? I still have about 1.9 tons left to play with, so I could just make this stage bigger. Or we could try a completely different engine. Like... what is the LH... oh, liquid hydrogen. Oh my. We're gonna get a liquid hydrogen version of the LR87. Less thrust, but man, that ISP is nuts. NASA selected the J2 over the LR87. Okay. For now though, I still don't know if I really have a better option. Would an AJ5 be better? Because it's 258 versus the 251 ISP of this one. It also weighs less. And it has more threat. This is better in every way. And reliability is even in the same ballpark. So at this point, the LR-43, I guess, is just retired. Because the AJ5 version of the LR87 is just full superior, right? Higher ISP, 259 over 251. Higher thrust by like a lot. 720 versus 950. And the burn time is exactly the same. The reliability at max data is even slightly higher, though it's kind of the same. Yeah, that feels like the play. So let's see what the difference is when we make that switch. So that's 13079, and this is 13345. Wow, that's a lot more delta V. And sorry, it's because it went way overweight. Go back to the weight we were before, 13062. Okay, so it's not that different. I was gonna say, I was like, that shouldn't be that crazy different. But what I'm thinking is now we can remove the casters, right? Because we don't need all that extra thrust now that we have the LR87. So I'm thinking we remove the casters. And now we can make this longer. A long boy. To get up to 60-ish tons. And now we've got 13229 delta V. No solid rocket boosters to worry about. Still under 60 tons. And we offset this so that it's looking good. And I believe the Locust 4 is ready for simulation. Cool. I like this. This feels like a real rocket, you know? Alright, mid-satellites, simulate. Unlock credit. Oh gosh, that scares me every time I see it, man. I see that and I'm like, wait, why is it costing me 136,000 to unlock this? It's not. That's the credit that I have. That's the credit that I have. LOL. Alright, I need to take a quick pause. I'll be right back and we'll simulate this bad boy. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so let's simulate this bad boy. Simulate. And yeah, it should, because of the deep space avionics, I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. I really should probably start using a checklist now that we're into that stage of the game. But yeah, last stage, early shut off. Is that enough delta V? That's cutting it really close. It's cutting it very close here. I guess we'll find out. Booster pitch rate. Hot staging lead time. Gonna need to be what? 1.6? Okay. Let me set up the note for ship notes. Locust LV, hot staging 1.6, lead time, solids lead, booster 50.8. But see, the problem is Locust, IV, and plus. Pitch rate equals probably like 0.6 because we're gonna need a pitch over slightly slower because we don't have the solid boosters, so our SLT is lower. So let's try 0.6 here for a first test. And we will have to launch to LAN here and see how that goes. Two, one, launch. Oh, nice. Nice work. I'm guessing that was my staging and or the time warp bug. Yeah. I think I didn't, when I moved around the thingy on the bottom, I think I messed up the staging of this thing. No? Now I've confused myself. Because this is the one that actually does the staging. There we go. And then this one is just here for looks. Which means I connect it here and drag it over. Though that does get in the way of that fin. I might... why is this so tricky? I can never hit the right rotate button. Alright. Something like this. Shift up. Shift over. Shift closer. There we go. And then we want to shift this down. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Save in Moon Program. Simulate. Is the staging right? No, it's wrong again. This has no... Disable staging. We don't care about that. It's not actually attached. It looks like it is. It's not. Not even attached. Alright, let's see if our moon orbiter can orbit the moon. To engage. Launch to LAN. Yeah, this one's going to be tight. I'm not sure if we have enough delta V or not. What is... This has got to be the glitch, right? Freaking time warp stuff, man. Because if I just hit engage autopilot and I go, it should work, right? No, something weird is going on there. What? Why is... Over here? Oh, you know what it might be? I assumed it was the time warp thing, because that's caused a mini an explosion. But I might have shoved the engine slightly too far up into the procedural structure. And that might have been causing... Basically, it was inside of the... I also should have a hollow cone here. Oh, now I screwed it up. I don't know how long it was before. 0.8 meters, maybe? 4? I don't know. Height-wise, it can be a little bit shorter, but then this one needs to go a little bit higher. Okay, let's try that. I wonder if there's a mod that remembers what category you're saving craft into. I would love a mod that remembers that. It's just one more click. You know, there's already so many clicks, and if you save yourself an entire, and it's not just a click, you have to mouse over and then scroll down and then click on the right thing before you save it every single time. And that can be, it really adds up. All right, one more time. Let's just try launching it and make sure that works. Okay, there we go. That's what we want to see. Now let's try again. Launch to longitude of ascending node. No explosion? Yay, no explosion. All right. Off to the races. And then let's get our hyperwarp set up to be more accurate. And we just got a nice long first stage, no boosters to drop. Just a slow ascent. Okay, we did pitch over pretty hard there. So I could pitch a little bit faster. Sweet. And according to this, we're still gonna have about 150 delta V to spare. These things are so annoying that they can't provide roll control. It almost makes me want to... Oh, wait, can they? It looks like they can, actually. It's probably just overreacting because of the hyperwarp. Things do get a little weird when you're hyperwarping. I will own that that's my choice to hyperwarp. Oh yeah, there we go. And then it's trying to RCS its way to the finish line here. Perfect. So then at this point, we would find where the moon is. And just, we're seeing if we have enough delta V. So it's going to be something like this. 3150 enter. Nailed it. Get this closer. Oop, I screwed it up. Going the wrong way. There we go. Okay. So that's about optimal. You need a little bit more oomph. Not much, though. That right there should do it. And then... Okay. So there's our moon encounter. It's too late. Yeah, we actually need it to be more like that. Now I'm confusing myself. If it's later, it'll move more to the left. I want it to move more to the right, so I need it to be earlier in the orbit, which is the minus button. But then it can be weaker. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. How is that still the moon encounter? Am I way off here? Oh boy, what am I doing? I have gone insanely mad. This is encountering the moon on the front end. So... Right. I think I was going the wrong direction that whole time. We need to be going later. There we go. Yeah, I wanted the moon encounter to match more with my apoapsis. You know? Alright, anyway, sorry, it's all kind of pointless. Anyway, we'll do a slight maneuver node here. Cannot add maneuver node, control locked. Well, screw you. And we can do a little bit of normal. Not that much normal, please. Like a little bit of normal. Why is that not updating? Oh. I need to make sure I add it on that one. There we go. And then we should be able to get, yeah, a little bit of a fixed orbital situation. Come in from the top. You know what I just realized is we're going to need a little bit more RCS if I want to do this. From the beginning. Because that's like a 40 delta V encounter. But anyway, then at that periapsis, I can circularize, but then go a little bit closer to about 100. And that would do it. So that encounter is 800, or maneuver is 800. So 4,000 is enough. Okay. All right, so everything's good. The question is just, how do we get the little maneuver to get into the polar? Like, can I modify this one? If I go normal here, will it make... Let me delete node 2 for right now. I don't think going normal across from the moon is going to change anything. I mean, it'll change it slightly. But you can see it's not really raising or lowering. Getting into a polar. It's just because of the way twisting orbits works, right? If you're accelerating right here, it's turning the dinner plate like in line with where you're pointing. So it would bring this end up and this end down if you thrust up. And so the problem is if the thing you're landing at is on the other end, you're not really changing your landing point or intercepting point. Even if you change your normal or anti-normal velocity. So you have to wait until you're basically across from there. And then when you change that, it will raise or lower that edge of the dinner plate. So it's kind of a weird situation because you kind of can't get the encounter you want at the spot that you're leaving. which is weird. Like, it's probably possible with a little bit of changing the timing. You know, if you intercept a little bit before your orbit, and then you throw enough normal or anti-normal onto it, then you can probably mess with it. But that's really hard to get it just right. Because you can see we have made it slightly not coplanar with the moon here. Like if I line up the white lines of the moon, you can see I leave on a different line. Where if I zero it out, we enter and leave basically on the coplanar line. So it was having an effect, but it's a really small effect. So you really need to add your maneuver node after, you know, you're at a slightly different angle, and then you can really start to modify. But all that being said, what delta V am I going to do that with? Because I only get 2 ignitions on the Agena. So I need RCS that's capable of like 40 delta V, which we don't have. Not really. I'm glad we simulated this. I may have to finish this in the next episode because we're already getting a little long at 1 hour and 10 minutes. But let's see. Maybe we... Maybe we add the tiniest little isogrid tank here. $20mm. And then I add just a couple RCS thrusters of what are those? Those are probably slightly too big even. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. So 45 Newton class, they weigh about 2 kilograms a piece. That might be about right. And then I just put 2 of those on the bottom. And then those are HTP mode. And then this gets filled with high pressure HTP attitude jet. Okay, so then that will activate at the same time. What the heck does 49,864 mean? Doesn't seem like... Oh, now they pop up. I don't know if I understand exactly what I'm looking at. I think it would be better if I took this off the bottom. That's my theory. It's gonna help a bit. And then see, the problem is it's counting these other thrusters. Are they enabled already? Oh, I think we were looking at the wrong pair of thrusters. Now is it gonna work right? It still doesn't look like it's working right. Because these are both marked as disabled, but this RCS readout is still doing weird things. I think it's telling me I'd get 15 meters a second only. Yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing there. Interesting. And this is 71 kilonewton engine. I wonder how many kilonewtons I actually need for this. I think I need a little bit more than the 45. Let's try double 111s. Okay, so now that's telling me we've got 22 meters a second available over 324 seconds. That's still really bad. And all of that is gonna weigh an extra 40 kilograms. Starting to wonder if I should like add some kick motors or something instead, because those have a much higher ISP of 206. So if I just had a couple of those, maybe that's the play. And we can orient with the other RCS, and then we can fire these bad boys off. Though, given we want an exact orbit, that feels like a bad idea. Maybe I should use the generic thrusters. Because these are way better in terms of, I mean, a 445 Newton thruster using this would weigh 14 kilograms. And this one only provides 221 newtons. Let's compare here. That one on HTP. So 7 kilograms for 111. And this is 6 kilograms for 222. Yeah, that's kind of an obvious choice. Maybe we need 2 generic engines. And then I need that little fuel tank back. High pressure aluminum. Maybe we do need a medium-sized one. The Agena there. And those will provide a little bit of correction. So now we configure those for HTTP. Oh, they already are. And configure this for HTTP. And then we switch over to RCS. I guess engine. So that's 73 delta V right there. All right, let's aim for 40. Maybe 45. All right, so there's 45 delta V added. It did cost us 77 kilograms extra. Kind of costly. It reduced this stage down to 4039. This is making everything cut pretty close. It makes me want to reduce this down and just pay higher tooling cost. I mean, look at that. It's 10 delta V per 100 kilograms I reduced this by. And we don't need more than 1.7. So in terms of total delta V, 13104 goes down to... well, when I fix the battery. So when it was 2.6 and 2000, or 2.6 and 1579, it's 13102, and this goes down to 13179. So I think maybe it's just worth paying for that tooling cost on the deep space probe to get that delta V back. And then that lets us maneuver properly. So what's the actual staging going to be? We do that, we launch, we do the fairing, we do the RD, we get into orbit with that. Then RD-119, separate the RD-119. Then, while we're in orbit, we will need to orient with these RCS thrusters. And then we will ignite the Agena, along with decoupling the Agena. So that'll be for our translunar injection burn. And then after we've done the first part of that, at some point we will ignite these, orient ourselves, and do the 40 delta V burn to get into a polar orbit with the moon. The polar orbit, by the way, if you were curious, I feel like I haven't said this yet because I kind of assumed everyone was on the same page, but maybe you weren't. Polar orbits guarantee that you get all the biomes for science. So that's why we're doing that. And then finally, we can eject the last one, but we'll have to orient and then do the Mooner. I like to say Mooner instead of Lunar sometimes. It's very fun. You should try it sometime. Our Mooner insertion burn will be with the Agena again, and that will be the second ignition that it uses. And then at that point, we can ditch the Agena stage if we want and make it into moon debris. But yeah, that should do it. This avionics I should set as debris on stage. What does on stage mean though? Because it's not staged over here. I assume that means when it no longer... We've never tried that before, but I think that means as soon as we stage in such a way that it's not connected anymore, then it'll turn that piece into debris. Sweet, okay. So I think this is now ready to go to the moon, like 100%. Let's try it. Delta V total is pretty low. I'm kind of scared of that. The RD-119 kind of already maxed out for its burn time. Could maybe go a few seconds longer. Kind of risky though. Go to like 274 seconds on it. And then we've still got 500 kilograms, so we'll just max out with this guy. There we go. 59.974 tons. That is the absolute best I can do. All right, save in Moon program. Simulate. And let's see if this bad boy can get in orbit without help. So 2, we wanted to be more aggressive, so let's try 0.8 and engage autopilot and launch to longitude of ascending node. We'll see if this can do it. Ta-da! Alright, hyperwarp. Pitching over a bit faster. Let's see what it does. Does it have a weird flop over now, or is it a little better? What did I screw up here? Oh, sorry, that needs to be 4 and 4. Well, that might have messed something up. Okay, there's a little bit of a flop over, but not bad this time. We are more sideways, so are we going to get to 60 kilometers before we need to ignite the engine? That's the next question. We've only got 10 seconds left. I'm actually not sure if we're going to. I don't think we are. Oh no. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Because of the faster pitch over, we're gonna need to pop our fairings sooner, which I think we can handle. So ascent settings, pop fairings at 55 kilometers. And then I need to make a note of that. Rate 0.8. Okay, that's actually the same settings then. Ditch fairings at 55 km. Okay, let's try that again. This time with less fairing catastrophes. Pew. Cool. Start tilting over. Ourselves. We should get to 55 kilometers. Here we go. Plunk. Just in time. Perfect. Turn on RCS so that this thing works. And now we are slated to have 260 extra Delta V, which is awesome. It's a pretty efficient launch, actually. I mean, what's the total Delta V that we're talking that we used? Feels like not very much. So 90 seconds left. 60. 30, 20, 10, 5, and slow down here. Perfect. Okay. So that has 273 left in this stage. I'm gonna write that down. And then we need to immediately go into slow motion, which makes the zooming weird, but it means I have more time to plan. Because sometimes the moon burn is like mere moments, you know, like minutes after you launch. So you don't want to miss a window if you don't need to. But that's gonna be 3150 roughly. And then seems like that actually is just about right. Maybe a little bit less. I wonder which one is the most effective. Because you want a closer periapsis for the same amount of, you know, energy. So that one seems to be the most effective. Right, and that is passing on the close side of the moon. Not that it matters, because we're going to automate all this. So, okay, so 3150, perfect. That node is in 16 minutes. And then from there, I mean, that would be a perfect gravity sling to get us out into intersolar orbit, or interplanetary orbit, I guess. I don't know the right. Heliocentric orbit, if you want to use real words. And then the next question is, where's the best place to put this node that then is going to turn our orbit up? Turn it up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, I mean, it's not a huge change. And then a little bit more prograde to get it polar, and like that's it. But if we go earlier, it has an even stronger effect. So when is the soonest I can do that maneuver? Like, can I pull this maneuver back? It's not letting me click on it because of input logs? Actually don't know why. But if I like pull this all the way back to here, I feel like it can be even cheaper. Yeah, look at that. Now we can even say, whoa, I didn't mean to go by 10. Save some DV here. Wait, what is going on? Okay, so that gets that lined up, and then we need a few of the normals. But see, yeah, look at this. It's actually interesting. We need way more normal. Or is it radial that we would need at this point? I can never always tell. Oh, I did not mean to do that. There's no undo button, is there? Yeah, you can see like normal isn't affecting the like tilt as much. Like, look, that's how much tilt we get from 10 normal. If I go later in time, you can see we actually get more tilt from the same amount of normal. It's really interesting. So there's some optimal location out here in space where we get the most tilt for our normal, but we still don't need very many prograde delta V's to get in our polar orbit. And honestly, something like that is perfect. I mean, that's basically polar right there. And then 11 plus 24, and it's really the square root of those squared, so it's the hypotenuse of a triangle with those two. So it's going to be less than 35 delta V. It'll probably be something like, I'm going to guess about 30 delta V for this. And then I do want to tweak it just a smidge. I want this periapsis to be around 100 kilometers. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. And then that should work. Okay, so I think we're good to now open up the man plan. I'm going to close ascent guidance. I'm going to save the game as quick save lunar orbiter. I don't know how I opened moon body info with a hotkey, but I did. Interesting. Press B to open this window again. There you go. Okay, I think we're going to call it an episode here because I got to get going, but this has been a great test, and in the next episode we'll finish seeing if this bad boy can actually get into the exact orbit we want, and then if it can, we'll start integrating it, and we'll actually make another contract vessel. It's got to get a lot of data. But I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Guess we'll find out in the next episode. I mean, I can't see why it wouldn't work, to be honest. So, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. As always, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode.